Afternoon guys, so welcome back to my shed. I'm just doing this video leading on for the last one in the bushcraft education shed time videos about staying warm. I'm going to be talking about clothing today. It's a good day to talk about clothing because it's pretty darn cold and extremely damp today. So it's that sort of freezing rain that we've got at the minute. It's not quite snow, but it's not quite rain, and it's pretty miserable. So first of all, I'm not going to go into all the different brands of clothing and all the different types of materials and stuff. I don't know enough about it, and I don't think I need to know enough about it. I'm going to talk about one particular material and maybe a couple of materials, and just some principles that we need to know about keeping warm, and some different items of clothing that will really help you. Don't know what that was. Yeah, so first of all, when it comes to clothing, we need to understand how we keep ourselves warm. Not so much on a scientific level, but we need to understand that heat passes through a solid faster than it passes through a liquid, and it passes through liquids faster than it passes through gases. So we need to trap as many gases as we can, being air. It's air. We need to trap air, and the way to do that is in layers. Layers are key. Layers are really key to keeping warm. So that might sound pretty simple, and to be honest it is, but there's some things you can keep in mind that will help you to trap as much air as possible. And that brings me on to my first material, because I'm going to start off with your undergarment layer that's going to be closest to your skin. The best thing to wear that I'm aware of as an undergarment layer, as your base layer, is merino wool. And that's why I'm going to start talking about wool a little bit and some of its properties. Wool is what I think the number one material to wear for bushcraft. You need to get as close as you can to 100% wool. 100% wool is what you want to be looking for. The reason I say I think it's the best, I am just giving you my personal opinion, is just for a few of these reasons that I'll list now. Now this number one reason, before everyone shoots me down, is debatable. I'm not a scientist, I haven't tested this. I've done a fair bit of research online. Some people say this is true, some people say it's not, who have conducted their own tests. But are the tests fair? Are they scientists? Have the tests done properly? Well, I've heard this from quite a few what I'd call reliable sources, and that is that wool can retain 80% of its thermal properties when wet. Now how wet, I don't know, but I've heard that wool produces heat while it dries, so that in itself is a really good quality if that is true. But as I said, I've heard from a lot of quite reliable sources that wool will keep you 80% as warm as what it can do when it's dry, when it's wet. So my love for wool is overclouding my possible judgment, and I'm inclined to believe that. But don't take it as gospel from me. Go and do your own research. You might find different. That's all I'm saying. The second aspect of wool that makes it really good for bushcraft, we're working with fire all the time, is that it combust at much higher temperature to especially synthetics, cotton and denim. When you're camping near to a fire and you're using a spitty wood like sweet chestnut or pine, and you're in your 700-pound down sleeping bag, and you wake up and it's got a hole in it where a little hot rock's popped out of the fire and burnt a hole in it, it's quite demoralising. Not that that's happened to me in a 700-pound down sleeping bag, but even a 40-pound tarp is annoying. So if you're sleeping in a wool blanket, or you're wearing wool clothing near to a fire, you won't find it gets holes burnt. It might just get little sort of brown child marks, I guess. It won't burn. That is a way to test how good a quality, how height of the 100% wool you're looking at is if it would actually burn or not. It's a bit of a risk to do, but if you just put a lighter up to it quickly, you'll see it'll just, the fibres will shrink and smoulder instead of actually burning. And that again, that's a massive plus point when it comes to bushcraft. Some of the other things are, a simple one is that it protects you from UV rays, but that is like most clothing. Wool is actually self-cleaning. If you hang wool up outside, especially in the sun, what happens is all the fibres sort of go like this, they expand and they contract, and that motion of it rubbing together actually makes it really easy just to brush dirt off of it once it's dirty, once it's been hanging up for maybe an hour or two, or however long time you got, or I'm assuming the longer the better. Another reason that it's sort of very good hygienically is it's full of like wax. I'd say full of wax, but it's coated with a waxy material, which makes it very good for, one, repelling water. It does soak up water, but you need a large concentration of water for it to really soak in. But that wax inside it also makes it quite stain resistant as well. The wax itself has also got some amino acids inside it as well, which kill bacteria and microbes as well. So again, this makes it even better for hygiene. So yeah, there's some really good stuff there to look at. It's really strong material. If you respect it and don't just keep chucking it on the floor or trying to use it as a tarp and sticking sticks up through it to wedge it up in places. But even if you did do that, it's a strong material, it's a tough material, so if you look after it, it will last a lifetime. So wool really is what I think to be like the best material you can wear for bushcraft clothing. It's warm, it's waterproof to a certain degree, and will even keep you warm when it's wet. I've got a large wool blanket here. This one, I think it's a queen size. I only paid, I think I paid £40 for this on eBay. So they are expensive. Wool is expensive, but there's a reason it's expensive, but you can find it cheaper. That's what I'm saying. This is quite rough to wear against the skin. Isn't, you wouldn't want to have it on too long. It will itch and you'll probably get a little bit annoyed of it, which is why I'd say merino wool is a lot better. I've got a bit of a merino wool blanket here. This is an offcut. It's a lot softer, You wouldn't mind wearing that against your skin. So merino wool base layer is a great layer to start. So I've sort of got the base layer out of the way, and the qualities of wool while I want to be looking at wool. But other than that, what can you do to keep yourself warm? As we was just mentioning, layering is the way forward. So you've got your merino wool base layer on. If you haven't got a merino wool base layer on, then just any sort of insulative layer. These just for this thermal underwear, it costs a few pounds. It will trap air, and you will really feel the difference wearing these. It will trap the air inside. Again, it's pocketed. It's pocketed. These little lines are pockets. Each one of them is going to be a pocket of air. It's going to trap the air in there and make a real big difference. So you've got your base layer on. Next, over the top of that, I'd say you probably want some sort of long sleeve t-shirt, like just maybe a thin long sleeve cotton t-shirt, same as the thermal underwear you're wearing. That just give you another layer to trap air in. On top of that, you could say put something like this, like a wool jumper. I think this is only 50% wool, but again, it's going to give you those good properties of wool. Another layer, another thermal layer, just the patterning on it traps air. And your layers, you want to tuck in. You want to tuck them into your trousers, your bottom two layers, I'd say. Tuck them both into your trousers, because the heat that comes up from your legs will then end up coming up into your core and keeping your core warmer. Again, you'll notice a really big difference if you tuck your inside layers in, like a massive difference. And then your jumper, you sort of want coming down over those. So again, the heat's sort of coming up from the inside of your trousers up into your jumper. Again, little things like that make a big difference. Now, depending how cold it is, you can keep layering. You will want to layer, but like for your top layer, depending what the weather's like, you can just sort of like wear an insulative jacket maybe. But for your outer layer, you definitely want to be looking at something that's windproof and waterproof. This schmuck, I'm not sure how waterproof it is, but I'm going to be waterproofing this. I'm going to try my own blend of waterproofing with boiled linseed oil or molten wax. I'm going to paint it. I'm going to start off with the trousers that I'm wearing. But I think this was about £30–40, and it's definitely windproof. It's made of a canvasy material. Once it's waterproof, whatever layers you've got on you, you don't want the air, the convection from the wind sucking whatever body heat you're radiating out away from you. You want to try and keep it in, so you want to keep the wind chill off of you. So you definitely want to be looking at windproof materials and waterproof. Obviously, as soon as you start getting wet, you're going to be getting cold. That just brings me back to the merino wool base layer. Actually, what else that does, it acts as something called a wicking layer, which actually pulls moisture away from your body. So if you start to sweat, it pulls moisture away from your body out from underneath your base layer, because the longer that moisture stays on your skin, it takes energy for that moisture to evaporate, and the energy it's going to be using is your body's heat energy. So you want to get that away from your skin fast, which is another reason why a merino wool base layer is a very good idea. So for your outer layers, you haven't got to spend a fortune. This I got from a charity shop. It's a military DPM field jacket. Again, I'm going to waterproof this in the same stuff. This I think I got for about £8 from a charity shop. Charity shops can really be your friend when looking for stuff to keep you warm, for clothing. You'll find some great stuff in there. Another example of something I found in a charity shop is this wax jacket. It's a high quality wax jacket. I'm going to waterproof this, funnily enough. This will come with a bit of waterproofing on it, so it's coating sword, so I'll put it on the side. But yeah, I'm going to go back over it. Might not use the mix that I said. I might just get some like nick wax sort of spray just to go over with this, because they do have a certain amount of waterproofing qualities anyway. But this is insulated as well. This is a great example of an outer layer. I need to get a hood for it, but again, I think I paid £8 in a charity shop for this, so you haven't got to spend a fortune again on down jackets, etc. Something else we need to understand when trying to keep warm is that when your body temperature drops, your body starts to try and send heat to your core. And the first things that are going to suffer are your extremities, i.e. your hands and your feet. So you've got to be looking at doing something to keep your hands and feet warm. I'd say especially your hands, but your feet are just important. But you want to make sure your hands don't get too cold, because if you need to make fire or do something with your hands and you're starting to lose your dexterity in your hands and your hands are too cold, it can make it very, very difficult. So keeping your hands warm could make a huge difference in sort of a butterfly effect way of not being able to get a fire going and end up spending a very cold, miserable night somewhere. So wool gloves, a pair of wool gloves, cheap wool gloves. What do these cost? Like £3 each or something like that. Get some wool gloves on and tuck your outer layers over the gloves. Stop any air from getting out. Okay, and even on top of that, which I've got in my bag because I'm hoping to go camping tomorrow night, just like these riggers gloves, they've got a bit of a fleece lining inside. They're not just like normal riggers gloves, but if you've got, again, you're layering up 2 layers on there. you're sitting around your fire at night and you're still cold, a couple of layers on just to give you that extra bit of warmth. But yeah, I definitely recommend taking a pair of wool gloves with you and some wool socks as well. Going on to footwear, I'm not going to go into footwear massively. We know that for footwear it needs to be waterproof and of rugged build quality, and I've got these Augsburg Defenders, which are military boots. They definitely need a clean and a polish, which I'm going to do today. But one thing to look for, because you want to layer your socks right. You might want to put a thin layer on and a thick layer on. If you've got boots that are tight, too tight, and they'll squeeze all the insulation together inside your shoes, and what that'll do is it just stops the air from getting trapped, and you'll be losing air through conduction. It will be conducting from your feet to the outside layer. This is what years ago, before I started Bushcraft, I wrapped my feet up in loads of pairs of socks, gone out, and my feet are freezing still, and you can't understand it, and that's the reason why you're stopping the air from getting trapped inside it. So don't buy boots that are like mega tight. You want them to be able to have a bit of room inside, to be able to put a couple of pairs of socks on and then still not be too tight. So a couple more things you should be looking at. You might see I've got this shmog on. A shmog or a scarf is a really good idea. I'd say a scarf, but as with bushcrafters, the shmog is multi-purpose. You can use it for other things as well. You can use it for water filtration. You can use it as a band-aid. Yeah, I could make a video about shmogs, and there are videos out there if you want to go find them, like the uses of shmogs, and they can be used in other ways as well. You can put them around your face. There's a variety of ways you can wrap these up to fulfill whatever purpose you're looking for it to do. So I'd say get yourself a shmog. I think they cost, I can't remember, but I can't see it being more than about £6 or £7, and you can just wrap them right round and tuck them in, and again you've got a multi-purpose piece of kit there. The neck, you'll lose a lot of heat from the neck. I've heard that wearing a scarf or a shmog, or just keeping your neck insulated, gives you as much warmth in your core as what wearing another layer does, a jumper that is as well. And moving up to the top of the body, obviously you've got the head. You lose a hell of a lot of heat for your head, especially if you've got hair like mine. So I'd say get yourself a wool hat. This isn't a wool hat. This is it's got an acrylic outer, polyester lining, and it's got thinsulate material on the inside. I think I paid about £5 for it, and as soon as you put it on, within seconds you can feel the body heating up. So you've got your shmog as well. On, that's trapping heat, it's stopping it from rising out of your neck area. You've got your layers on. Like I said, layers are key. Get as many layers on as you can. Get yourself done up. Keep yourself warm. Get your gloves on. Get some nice wool gloves, some nice wool socks. For an outer layer, I mean, I want to get one, but they really are expensive. One of them Frost River schmucks, they're about £400, 100% wool. That's like, to me, that's like the ultimate sort of outer layer as well. It's windproof, semi-waterproof, and yeah, will really keep you warm. Won't burn, won't get any marks in it. But I'm going to be trying out this wax jacket because I quite like it. I can really see the benefits of wearing a wax jacket. Trouser wise, Fuel Ravens are great. I haven't got any. All I'm wearing is these are just, I think they're scruff work trousers, and I've embedded them with wax. And the reason I like these trousers, they're quite thick and they've got these pockets on as well. I don't know why more people don't do this, because they're little foraging pockets or whatever you want to put in them. They're there, they're great. As I said, like, I've embedded wax into them, just using wax candle going over it and then using a hairdryer to melt wax into them. It does take a long time, but it does make them waterproof. So I think they cost about £20. So I think they're great multi-purpose piece of equipment, really, just a pair of work trousers. But yeah, there you go. I hope I've given you some ideas to, I mean, a lot of this stuff's pretty simple, but yeah, hopefully it's giving you an insight into what you want to be doing with sort of being trapping your air. Every point possible, you want to be trapping air, not compressing it too much, and just creating layers, and that is the key to staying warm. Obviously the thicker your layers are, the better, but yeah, create as many layers as possible. Yeah, it's up to you to go and do your own research on what brands and stuff you think you might want to wear, and there's Gore-Tex as well, but I'm trying to keep a bit traditional with using wool and say like a waxy canvas material. Gore-Tex is great, but it's just not my style personally, but that is up to you what you want to make your style, and that research that you go and do will be where you learn what you think you want to wear. But yeah, just get that air trapped, keep your extremities warm, get a decent base layer, keep your neck and your head warm all the time, and that should give you some good stead into being able to keep warm in some pretty cold weather, not Arctic conditions, but I'm in the UK, it doesn't get that cold, but it gets damp, so protect yourself from the damp. Waterproof as much as you can. Alright then guys, so thank you for watching. I hope you've liked that video. There will be more videos, lots more videos in this Bushcraft education series. Not all of them are going to be done in a shed. Some of them, or lots of them, will be done in the field eventually. But yeah, I'm just sort of like breaking it down step by step into different categories, and hopefully by the end of it you'll have a good reference for whatever you need it for, really, whatever subjects in bushcraft you're looking for. Hopefully I'll be able to cover it. If you've got any ideas you want me to cover, put them in. I'm going to work through it in a certain order. But yeah, hopefully I haven't bored you too much, so and you'll join me for the next one. Thank you very much guys, cheers.